Thank you. You're good.
All right, thanks for your patience. We had a big line to get checked in. Has everyone checked in? Everyone have a pink piece of paper to vote? That'll come up on Article 14. A couple of you might have got white pieces of paper. How many got white pieces of paper? Okay, we're going to hand out a few more when we get to that. My name is Chris Backman. I'm the town manager. Welcome to this year's annual town meeting. Susan Carson, our clerk, is here. She'll be taking the minutes. If you could please stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to invite Pastor Carl to give a brief invocation. Brief?
Yeah. It's only 40 minutes.
How are you, sir?
I am great. How are you? Good. Always in my thoughts, I tell you.
Wait, did you bet on the horse?
I did on the other. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Good evening, and it's always a privilege and honor to be invited to hold a tradition that this town has done. And I talked to many other towns and officials, and not many start with a prayer or a thought. And so no matter where you stand in your faith, I'm always honored to come. And it is a chaplain prayer. I'm not representing Christianity or anybody else. I'm representing something greater than ourselves. And that's what I'm here to do, to pray and to offer our lives up to God. So let us be in the spirit of prayer. Gracious and holy God, Almighty, whatever way you may present yourself to us as individuals, on this day, we come together to talk and to present the annual town meeting. We come before you with hearts filled with gratitude for living in this wonderful community in this great nation. We humbly ask for your guidance and your wisdom and grace as many will engage in important discussions and decision-making processes that lie ahead. Remind us, O Lord, the virtue of patience. For it is through patience that we cultivate understanding and we learn compassion. In the midst of all these different opinions and perspectives, help us to listen attentively, allowing each voice to be heard, to be listened to show respect and have dignity. Teach us to wait, to pause, and to consider the greater good of this community that we call Orrington. In moments of disagreement, may our patience enable us to seek common ground, bridging divides and fostering unity. Let us always remember that in all our discussions that we are here to build a thriving community, which we are blessed to have at this very moment, but where all individuals can flourish and find a place they can call home. We ask you, O God of all wisdom, to bless us. May our words and actions be guided by reverence for one another, recognizing each person's worth and dignity. Help us to foster an atmosphere where differing opinions are valued and where dialogue is conducted with civility and grace. Almighty God, instill our hearts the recognition that we are all interconnected, bound together by the thread of shared humanity and our love for this town and your people. May it be marked by mutual respect and appreciation for the diverse talents, experiences, and perspectives. As many will engage in the work before them after this meeting is over, may their patience and respect serve as guiding principles, allowing them to navigate through the challenging moments and reach decisions that benefit all people of this community. We offer this prayer with sincere heart, trusting that you are present with us and you are ready to bless this annual town meeting and to infuse it with the patience, respect, and unwavering commitment to the greater good. In God we trust. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I was under the 5 minutes.
Barely. Tick, 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 tick. At this time, I'd like to thank the volunteers in this town, people that serve on these boards, these committees, help all of us run this town. It takes many people to contribute and help us out, and I certainly appreciate that. And I want to especially thank all the ladies that helped with the election today. It was a tremendous turnout and very rainy day, and for everybody that stood outside, certainly appreciate their dedication. I would like to make one special presentation now, and if I could call Louis Dunkel up. Louis is here on behalf of his mother, Irma Adams, aunt, who is the newest recipient of the Boston Post cane. And she couldn't make it today, but we'll be presenting her the cane later this week. But I wanted to thank you for coming, and we will see you. He'd like to stay, but his curfew was 8 o'clock. Yeah. The next thing, I'd like to just take a moment to talk about PERC. And I don't know if everybody saw the newspaper or heard the news that there is a foreclosure auction coming in July that came out in the paper Saturday. So it shook me, shocked me, blindsided me to read that. I don't have any more information. I'm 72, probably 85 hours into this. I talked to them today. I've been in touch with the state, and I do not think it's as gloomy and doomy as a foreclosure auction sounds. So there was a lot of high spirits over there today. No one has been laid off. No one is losing their job. They're still operating, and that's as much of the information as I have and can disclose now. So I appreciate your patience, and will do everything I can to keep them open. At this moment, I'd like to invite two of my favorite ladies in town, Cynthia and Laura. They're here with Greenfield Trust, and they are part of the team that is in charge of remediating the Penobscot River. And they have some handouts out back to talk about that process. They're going to be involved with this town for the next 3 to 5 to 10 years. So I'd like to give them a couple minutes to introduce them and the process that they're up against.
Thank you very much. My name is Cindy Brooks, and I'm here with my colleague, Lori Gorton. We are the representatives. I'm the president of the Greenfield Environmental Trust Group and managing principal for the trusts that were appointed by the U.S. District Court in October of last year to remediate mercury contamination in the sediments of the Penobscot estuary. Our responsibility as an independent trustee is to carry out the measures that were set forth in the consent decree to address contamination. They include placement of a thin layer sediment cap over intertidal flats from Orrington down to the north part of Bucksport. Approximately 138 acres is what's called for. Actually, 130 acres is called for in the consent decree. And I'm going to let Lori tell you a little bit about the work that she has been leading to put that in place. But we have a number of other activities. We're just getting started. We've started sampling, sediment sampling for long-term monitoring. That'll help us establish the success of the remediation measures that we're implementing. And I'm going to ask Lori to quickly address.
Thanks, Cindy. Thanks, everybody. It's nice to be here. So as Cindy mentioned, there's really three remedial actions that the consent decree identified for the estuary. One of them is the capping of the intertidal sediments, the mud flats throughout Orrington Reach. Then there's a second remedy that is dealing with what they call mobile sediments and surface deposits that is identified in the consent decree as a removal remedy. And these are intended to work together. And then the third remedial area is the east channel around Verona Island and Orland River. The fact sheets that we have back there have our website and information on what's happening, but Orrington Reach is really the first activity that's underway. And as part of that work, as we're doing our preliminary design, we are going to be sampling some of the intertidal flats to understand both mercury concentrations in the sediment and just the characteristics. And we'll be requesting access for property owners of the areas adjacent to the intertidal flats. And actually, we've sent some of those out in the mail just this week. And we also are going to be doing a wetlands assessment as part of the Natural Resource Protection Act permitting process that goes along with any of these kinds of projects. We will be doing a wetlands assessment of all of those areas as well to understand what kind of habitat is there. So that's just a preview. We wanted to introduce ourselves. You know, Chris, we really appreciate being able to be here tonight. And our phone numbers and our contact information are on those fact sheets. We look forward to having future meetings to provide you all with information and more importantly, probably, is to understand what questions and concerns you all have so that we know how we can provide you with the information you'd like to have as we move forward. So thank you very much for being here. Yep.
Thanks.
And I think that's all the speeches we have. I'd like to welcome the town attorney here. He's here to keep us in line. I've got three of the finest sheriffs out back. They're really here to keep us in line. And at this time, I'd ask the select board if they have a nomination for moderator.
I nominate Joel Boyersron. Sorry. I butchered your last
Yeah.
name.
Is there any nominations from the floor?
Second and all.
So if it's all right with this town, I would like to estimate 10 ballots be cast to elect Joe Belageron as moderator. And these were the white ballots that were handed out earlier. I think we were a little short, and Susan is going to come up with a couple more white ballots. Joe, would you like to say a few words before?
You will be talking.
Next year we do 3. We have 10 votes. Joe Belajon has been elected moderator. I would ask Susan to swear you in as moderator. And
You raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joseph Larson,
I, Joseph Belargin,
do swear
do swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
and
States
of this state,
and of this state,
so long as I shall continue
so long as I shall continue
a citizen thereof.
a citizen thereof.
I state your name,
I, Joe Belargin,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully
to
discharge
the best of my abilities
to the best of my abilities
the duties incumbent on me
the duties incumbent on me
as moderator of this town meeting
as moderator of this town meeting
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the law of the state
and the law of the state
and the charter of the town of
and the charter of the town of Warrington.
Please. Thank you very much.
I'll turn the town meeting over to Joe now. And
Thanks for coming, everybody. Before we get started, I just want to give you a little bit of a brief synopsis for maybe some of you who haven't attended any of these meetings. My job is to kind of just be traffic control for any of the questions and stuff for these guys up here. The way it'll work is I'll read the article, we'll get a motion in a second, and then there will be a discussion portion. I ask that you just take a look at the articles if you guys have questions. I just want to keep the questions specifically related to the article that we're talking about at hand. Sometimes people get excited and want to talk about articles ahead of time, and we just need to kind of stick to the ones that we have. Okay? All right. So we're going to start off, I believe, with Article 3. 2. To see if the town will authorize the select board on behalf of the town to appoint any and all necessary town officers required by law and not chosen at said meeting. Do I have a motion? Second? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So that article passes. Article number 3, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to procure a temporary loan or loans within the 2023-2024 taxable year in anticipation of taxes for the purpose of paying the obligations of the town, such loans to be paid during said taxable year. I have a motion. Second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So that motion passes. Article 4, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to sell tax acquired property by advertised sealed bid to the highest bidder or negotiate in the best interest of the town, except that the select board have the power to retain said property for the town and to authorize redemption by the prior owner or heirs of the prior owner. In the event of a foreclosure, the municipal officer shall use a special sales process required in 36 MRSA Section 943C for qualifying homestead property if they choose to sell it to anyone other than the former owners. Motion? Second? Discussion? All those in favor? Okay, opposed? Motion passes. Article 5, to see if the town will authorize the select board to sell, lease, or dispose of obsolete equipment and or real property in a manner deemed by the select board to be in the best interest of the town. Motion? Second? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 6, to see if the town will fix a date when taxes shall be due and payable, and to see if the town will fix a rate of interest to be charged on taxes unpaid after said dates. The select board recommends that taxes be due and payable in 2 equal installments, which shall be due and payable upon completion of tax commitment. The first installment shall become delinquent after September 15th, 2023, and second installment shall become delinquent after March 15th, 2024. Interest at the rate of 8% per annum will be charged on delinquent taxes. Abated taxes will have a fixed rate of interest of 4% per annum. Motion? Second? Discussion? All those in favor? And opposed? That motion passes. To see if the town, Article 7, to see if the town will vote to authorize the treasurer to accept certain cemetery trust funds, the interest from which to be used for the perpetual care and maintenance of the cemetery's ground. Motion? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to increase the property tax limit established for Orrington by state law in the event that the municipal budget approved under the following articles will result in the municipal budget greater than the property taxes levy limit. Motion? Second? Discussion? All those in favor? And opposed? So motion passes. Article number 9, to see if the town will vote to ratify the actions of the select board regarding the following anticipated overdrafts in these departments.
None are anticipated this year.
So we'll take a motion on that. Second. Discussion. All those in favor? And all those opposed? Motion passes. Article 10, to see what sum of money the town will vote to appropriate for administrative salaries and expenses. Select board recommends $1,091,522. Motion? Discussion? All those in favor? And opposed? So motion passes. Article 11, to see what sum of money town will vote to appropriate for compensation of town officials. Select board recommends $22,250. Discussion? All those in favor? And opposed? Motion passes. Article 12, the Orrington School Budget Appropriation for 2023-2024. So to see what sum of money the town will vote to appropriate for the following line items. Line item 1, regular instruction. School committee recommends $4,600,368. Motion? Second? Discussion? Go ahead.
I don't know if there's a separate place for tuition or school choice. I just wanted to say a couple of words. But is this the time that I would,
I believe under Article 14, there's a portion, is there not? Regular.
This is fine.
Yep.
my name's Jerry Perkins. Been a resident of this town, born and brought up in Arlington. Went to Arlington schools. I think I went to Breaux High School a year before this beautiful school was built. I've taught and coached for 34 years. A pretty good background in education. Love teaching and coaching. Love kids. Still do. I think school choice is a great thing. My issue is what I would like to see, and I know it falls on deaf ears in some places, other people it gives them pause to have a little concern, is I think when we pay a tuition, it should be a sum of money that we give to each student to choose whichever school they want to go to. That sum of money, that stipend, is equal to all the students, whatever school they want to go to. And if they want to go to a school that costs more than one of the other schools, just like if I want to go to Bowdoin rather than the University of Maine, I pay the extra money. Just using that for an example. The fact that we all have to pay for extra money for these people, for certain students to go to a special school that costs more, is not fair in my opinion. As a teacher and a coach, that's to do with fairness. Just wanted to mention that, put it in the minds of the voters in this town, the taxpayers in this town. we're fair to all the students. We give our mama money to somebody to go to Brewer, Bangor, John Dash, Camden, Bucksport, great choices. But whatever choice you have, if there's an extra stipend to be picked up by a school, the parents pay that extra price.
Thank you. Any other discussion on that? Okay,
Yeah,
go right ahead.
just a clarification on that. My name is Paul Trudishaw, and I'm new to some of the details here. Based on what was just discussed, are any considerations to that in any of these line items under any of these articles? Or is the way it's done today, the way it's done, and it's not addressed in any form or fashion in any of these articles? As it relates to education.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's a few things there. This budget represents school choice fully. There isn't any consideration given to that reduction because that's not something that currently is in policy or in statute. When the AOS was formed, that policy was JFABA and it was brought forward 3 times. It was voted down all 3 times, not just by the school board, but the community overwhelmingly supported school choice and full school choice. As such, that policy is how we entered the AOS, and by statute, we are now bound to school choice. We would have to try to push through a special purpose private law in order to change that. The bottom line is the reason that was put down was when that debate occurred, and I was not superintendent at the time, but I was present at the meeting. There were several others here who were. The community not only supported school choice, but felt that there would be a negative impact on property taxes if you restricted it here, and those around the communities that did not, people would move there instead of here. That's the history. I'm happy to meet with any of you and go over that history if you want further detail. But right now, it is not something that can be restricted. We would have to look at a special purpose private law or talk about that policy again and how it would be able to come forward. But currently, it cannot be in place. No.
And thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Any more discussion on that? Okay, let's go to vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Passes. We're on line item 2. Special education, school committee recommends $1,163,691. Can I get a motion? Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So that motion passes. Line item number 3, career and technical education. Shall the regional vocational budget as approved by the cooperative board for the period of July 2023 through June 30th, 2024 be approved in the amount of $3,588,937. Orrington's share of the operational budget is 0. School committee recommends 0. Second. Discussion? Okay. All in favor? All opposed? So that motion passes. Line item 4. Other instruction, including extracurricular instruction. School committee recommends $101,815. I need a motion. Discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? So that motion passes. Line item 5, student and staff support. School committee recommends $361,267. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor? All those opposed? So that motion passes. System administration is line item number 6. School committee recommends $237,157. Discussion? Go right ahead. Oh, jumping the gun on me. All those in favor? And opposed? That motion passes. Line item 7, school administration. School committee recommends $350,286. Discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? So that motion passes. Line item 8, transportation and buses. School committee recommends 590,610. Discussion? All those in favor? And all those opposed? That motion passes. Line item 9, facilities maintenance. The school committee recommends 745,765. Discussion? All those in favor? And all those opposed? That motion passes. Line item 10, debt service and other commitments. The school committee recommends 0. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. All other expenditures, including school lunch, the school committee recommends 20,000. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Do I need to do the total line on them?
You don't need a motion.
Okay. We'll go to Article 13, which is to see what sum the town will appropriate from the foundation allocation for school purposes, and to see what sum of the town will raise as the local share of the foundation allocation. School committee recommends $2,776,383. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? The motion passes. So Article 14 is a paper ballot due to the article exceeding the state's essential programs and services funding model. So that's what you guys should have received, is the pink copy. So Article 14, to see what sum the town will raise and appropriate in additional local funds. I recommend $1,084,388, which exceeds the state's essential programs funding model by $1,064,388. The school committee recommends $1,084,388. So I need a motion. Discussion? Go ahead. Want to take that?
Yep, the explanation is right below it for the following. It has to do with how the state apportions out the subsidy based on, one of our bigger factors is high school tuition. If you look at that, you can see not only the rates, but what we receive back on those students is about $4,000 to $5,000 less per student than where it is. It has to do with the way that they reimburse co-curricular activities and other things. So even though the formula has been in existence for the last 15 years, it hasn't been adjusted for any of today's current rates. So you have to do the required portion, which is the number above it, in order to receive the subsidy. And then this is the additional to cover the actual cost of education.
Any other discussion on that? Go right ahead.
What would be the impact if this was hypothetically voted no?
On the secret ballot, what would be the impact is in 30 days, we'd have to bring another budget forward that we would have to vote on. And the additional money would not be approved. So then you have a summary article, which is Article 15, the next one, which would not be able to be approved because you don't have approval of the secret ballot above and beyond additional local.
So in essence, it's deferred to vote for another 30 days.
We'd have to come, but the town would bear the burden of having another town meeting. We would have to bring back the budget again and then go through that, yes.
And if it was voted no again at that one, then
You get another 30 days. You keep bringing it back, it goes 30 days until you get one approved.
so it just continues to be deferred.
Until you get one approved, yes.
Go right ahead.
What amount of the $1,084,388 is for children doing maps?
Well, I don't have the exact number, but I can likely give you a rough number if you give me a minute. We have 55 students currently at BAPS. So you asking me for the difference between that and subsidy or the difference between that and Brewer?
Difference between that and Brewer, because of the plan.
So the difference between that and Brewer
Well, you give me both.
is gonna be 55 times, whatever that is, 1,700. So my guess is that puts you somewhere around 100,000.
1,700, more than 1,700 in Brewer and Bass. It's over 3,000.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Orrington. Yeah, so 3,000 times 55, so 150, 165,000.
I agree with the first gentleman that spoke back on whatever the article was, as far as school choice goes. But I also remember that some years ago, the people of Warrington put this to a vote and decided it was more advantageous to pay for these children to go to BAPS than not to pay for them to go to BAPS. I disagree with that. I don't think people should be coming to Warrington for the sole purpose of free tuition to BAPS. I think that's wrong, that we all get. That's the only reason they come to Warrington, and probably should come. That's my personal opinion.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion on that? Does everybody see that addendum down below for the following reasons? That gives that explanation that we just spoke about. So at this point, we need to do the paper ballot for that?
Yeah.
So,
You could tear your choice and put, yeah. You can, but we'll count them both. Yeah. And Susan will be around to collect your choice. Kelly will be around to collect your choice. Julie will be around to collect your choice. Joe will be around to collect your choice. Before we adjourn.
Mhm.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to read the Kelly and Susan.
okay, you want to do that?
You can.
I can do it. Okay. Yep, very busy. Yeah. That's taking off big time. Yeah. I'm finally getting some monetary assistance and grants and stuff, so. Yep. Was that? 58, yes. 4. Okay, perfect. So Article 14, the results of the paper ballot is 58 yes, 4 no. So Article 14 passes. There's a note for the next article. The following Article 15 is a summary article, like the superintendent just mentioned. The amount recommended should be the gross budget of the school system. This article does not provide money unless the other articles are approved, which we just did that ballot on. So Article 15, to see what sum the town will authorize the school committee to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending July 30th, 2024 from the town's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act. Non-state funded school construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under the Maine Revised Statute Title 20A, Section 15690. Unexpended balances, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of schools, which is summary lines 1 through 11. School committee recommends $8,170,959. Can I have a motion? Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? So motion passes. Article 16, to see if the town will approve the total operating budget of $318,529 for adult education at the United Technology Center and appropriate $2,508 as Orrington's share, with authorization to expend additional, incidental, or miscellaneous receipts in the interest and for the well-being of the adult education program. Select Board recommends $2,508. Discussion?
Is this based on the number of students that are there or the population?
You want me to answer it? Yeah. So it's paid by the town, not by the school. But it's not based on the students so much as your percentage of all the different offerings that they have through the adult education program.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those against? Motion passes. So Article 17, to see what sum of money the town will vote to appropriate for public works and solid waste. The Select Board recommends $748,453. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Article 18, to see what sum of money the town will vote to appropriate for civic programs. Select Board recommends $59,350. Discussion? All in favor? All those opposed? This motion passes. Article 19, to see what sum of money the town will vote to appropriate for public safety. Select Board recommends $1,103,278. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 20, to see what sum of money the town will vote to appropriate for the library. The Select Board recommends $108,456. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 21, to see what sum of money the town will appropriate for capital projects. The Select Board recommends $1,136,000. Discussion? Go right ahead.
What project? There's different reserves we've been funding for many years. Road projects,
cemetery reserve, dam maintenance reserve, vehicle reserve, municipal building reserve, a revaluation reserve, a fire department equipment reserve, and a public works equipment reserve.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? This motion passes. Article 22, to see if the town of Orrington will vote to accept and disperse funds as provided by the Maine State Legislature, such as state revenue sharing, roadblock grant, tree growth reimbursement, veterans exemption reimbursement, and snowmobile registration when made available. The select board recommends approval. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 23, to see how the town will vote to fund the appropriations approved in these warrant articles. The select board recommends using revenues appropriated from non-property tax revenues, which includes an amount up to $500,000 from fund balance and the remainder to be raised from property taxes. Select board recommends approval. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 24, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board or the town manager acting in concurrence with said select board to apply for and or accept and expend on behalf of the town money from federal, state, or other governmental units or private sources which may be received from time to time in the form of grants or for any purpose during the period of July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. The select board recommends approval. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 25, to see if the town will vote to authorize the treasurer to accept prepayment of taxes not yet committed and to pay no interest thereon. Select board recommends approval. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 26, shall the town of Orrington authorize the Orrington School Committee to expend such other sums as may be received from federal or state grants or programs or other sources during the fiscal year or school purposes, for school purposes, provided that such grants or other sources do not require the expenditure of other funds not previously appropriated. School Committee recommends approval. Discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 27, shall an ordinance entitled Orrington Land Use Ordinance be amended as presented for public hearing by the planning board on April 20th, 2023. If approved, this would correct several grammatical errors and a clarification on the definition of a cluster development that was approved on June 6th, 2022. A copy of the ordinance is available from the town clerk. Select board recommends approval. Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 28, shall the town vote to amend the Orrington Land Use Ordinance Article 7 by adopting the Federal Emergency Management Agency's final map date with accompanying flood insurance rate maps as presented for public hearing by the planning board on April 20th, 2023. Adoption of this will become effective as of July 19th, 2023, and allow those in the floodplain areas to obtain the required federal flood zone insurance. The select board recommends approval. Discussion?
Approximately how many residents would be affected by this changes?
All of them. They're updating the federal flood zone, and they updated our town. And so anybody that is encompassed in that federal flood zone would be affected.
So do those changes mean that more people would be considered in the flood zone? And if so, how many more?
I would say there's certain areas that got expanded and certain areas got reduced. So I think it was, I don't have the number of, it was this yesterday and this will be tomorrow. There was some expansion and some contraction.
How are
are folks being notified whether they're now moved into one or taken out of one?
They had a public hearing on this and they had the FEMA had a public open house on May 31st that they were available for answers to that. I think the insurance companies are going to be the ones that are being notified that your house is now in the flood zone or not in the flood zone.
Any other discussion on that? All those in favor? All opposed? So that motion passes. Do we have results?
That's it for the warrant articles, but before we adjourn, I was wondering if we had the results from the municipal election. No, we don't? We don't have the numbers yet.
You guys are that good and that quick.
Pardon? Oh. Well, I'll announce the school board winners.
You're that good and that quick, Chris. We're good.
Yes, sir.
It looks like the town budget increased slightly for the year.
Yes.
The school budget did not.
The school budget overall increased, but what the school is asking the town to contribute as their local share, their local contribution for the overall did not increase.
Well, I'd like to make the point, the school committee should be commended for holding a line on the cost of education, which is 70% of the town budget, roughly. In the year that inflation is 5 to 6 to 7%, you should be congratulated.
Again?
They have held the line for 8 years now.
You don't want, that's right. You should be commended for it.
Absolutely.
It's tough to do today.
I've never heard of it in all my travels.
Next year will be 9.
We're starting early already, Mr. Elkin. We're already starting, Mr. Elkin.
Maybe 8.5.
We're just waiting on the results from the vote, but no pressure.
I thought they were here.
Do you want to close? Or? Want to wait?
No, okay. I still got 5 minutes. For my over under.
Well, then I want to cut on that because I'm the one who did that.
Joe,
I know, right? Right. Yep.
Right, exactly.
Hey, whoever's counting this needs to be fine.
So for the ones that hold the mortgages.
Trust me.
I mean, they're volunteer, I hope, right? We're not paying.
Not you don't ask me questions, you're saying? But if you want to.
We can probably adjourn the meeting.
Yeah. Just about.
Yeah.
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 You don't need them to ratify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting on the results, but we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. So I'll need to have a motion for adjourn. Second. There's no discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion. We're adjourned.